Hello, everyone. I hope that you had a wonderful holiday weekend and you got some much needed rest, as I did. But I'm back and I'm ready to roll, and I wanted to come and bring you a Tuesday morning inspiration. And I want to take your mind back to Mark chapter 5, where Jesus, when he got off the ship, he and his disciples, there was a man that had an unclean spirit. He ran and he worshiped him. But Jesus knew that he was demonically possessed. He asked the man, "What is your name?" And the man said, the spirit spoke through the man and said, "Legion, for we are many." And if you remember the story, the story goes on, and Jesus did cast out the unclean spirit, cast them out into the swine. They ran and jumped over a cliff and, drowned. And that's how the story went. But that's not why I want to draw your attention to that. On down in verse 18 and 19, a little bit before that, the people came and they had heard about this, and they were just a little unsure. So they really kind of wanted Jesus to be on his way, and they weren't feeling that, and they didn't understand it, and so they didn't receive him. And they asked him to leave. So he got back on the ship, and the man that had been delivered, he asked Jesus, can he go with him? And Jesus said, no, you can't go with me. You're going to have to stay back and go tell the people, of the goodness of the Lord, what happened to you. Go be a testimony, and that made me think somebody has to stay back and tell the story. When you go somewhere and you do good deeds and you are ministering to people, someone has to stay back and tell the story. You need to be able to leave a good name for yourself. But my focus on that part is Jesus said, no, you can't go with me. You can't hang with me. You're not going to be able to chill out. You're going to have to just stay. So my thing is, my whole point for bringing it up is, even if you do good by someone and you are doing a good deed, if you minister to someone, if you give them food, if you give them, just any nice gesture that you do for people, that's out the goodness of your heart, and that is the Lord working through you and allowing you to see a need for the people. But the end result is you can't take everybody with you. Just because you do a good deed, that does not warrant them to be your bestie. And you have to separate the two. You're doing a work for the Lord. You're doing a ministry. That does not mean you need to be hanging out with everybody. That does not mean that you need to allow them all to be in the circle. You have to know how to discern that. Everyone that you do a good deed for, everyone that you minister to, they're not meant to be hanging buddies. Your work and your mission is to minister. Your mission may be to feed the homeless. Your mission may be to just go and deliver blankets, or just do a good deed, for people. But you can't hang out with everybody. You cannot. It doesn't mean that you're better than anyone. Doesn't mean that you should be so arrogant that you think that you're all of that. I'm not saying that. But Jesus told him no. There was a reason why Jesus told him no. And do we actually know why? Did Jesus say why? No, he didn't. But there was a reason. So that shows me that you cannot, the people you're ministering to, it doesn't mean you always need to be besties with them. You don't always have to, because you will get caught up sometimes in your flesh, and you won't be able to disciple the difference, and then your emotions will get involved, and you may lose focus. So you never know what the reason is, but just make sure that you are separating that and you're ministering, and don't mix business with pleasure. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Don't mix business with pleasure. Make sure that you are doing your good deeds and you move on. It's not always meant for you to just hang out and try to make friends. That's not your purpose, you know. So do what God says to do. Go where He says go. Do the work, the will of, His will, the will of God, and then you leave. You go on. You don't have time to just sit around and kiki and cuckoo. Everybody can't hang with you. Everybody can't go with you. Everybody can't do what you do. Be nice. Be friendly. Show yourself friendly as Jesus did. But somebody got to stay back and tell the story. So that's basically my inspiration for today. Make sure that you are separating yourself. Make sure that you are doing God's will and you are leaving. You're not mixing business with pleasure. Just know that everybody can't hang out with you. Everybody can't be a part of your circle, because you will get emotionally attached. And there's nothing wrong with making friends and being nice to people, and there's nothing wrong with that. I have plenty of friends, but I can't hang out with everybody. And God just haven't allowed me to do that. So it is what it is. So that's what I wanted to tell you today. Just be diligent. Keep your mind stayed on God, and just make sure that you're doing his work and the will of the Lord. All right, you all have a blessed and wonderful day. I love you guys. Bye-bye.